I'm Carl Ball, founder and director of the Creation Evidence Museum. We are examining actual artifacts that defy evolutionary theory. Our purpose is then to preserve those, to display those, and to disseminate those.
Minutes ago, explorers found a hammer trapped in ancient rock. Max Hahn and his wife discovered this strange hammer near London, Texas. Now called the London Hammer, this artifact sparked heated debates because it seemed too advanced for its ancient geological age, which predates human technology by millions of years. Was it evidence of a lost advanced civilization, or just a rare coincidence? Join us as we dive into the mystery and uncover the secrets of the London Hammer, when history defies expectations. On a sunny June day in 1936 in London, Texas, Max Hahn and his wife were taking a walk just outside of town. As they walked, they found an unusual piece of metal stuck in a stone. Curious, they decided to take it home. They had no idea that this ordinary-looking rock held something extraordinary, a hammer that would soon fascinate many people. This hammer, trapped in the stone, seemed to mess with what we know about history and technology. It didn't fit with the usual timelines of human progress. At first, no one realized what it was. It wasn't until 1947 that its true nature was understood. This discovery kicked off many investigations and debates. The hammer, later called the London Hammer after where it was found, was not just any old tool. Its make suggested it was from a much more advanced time, especially since it was found in rock that was millions of years old, way before humans were thought to have made such tools. This led to intense scrutiny and debate among archaeologists and historians. How could a modern-looking hammer be stuck in such ancient rock? Was this proof of advanced prehistoric civilizations, or just a strange fluke? But that wasn't the most puzzling part. As the word about the London Hammer spread, experts and amateurs alike got interested. Every new examination added more questions. Scientists ran tests on both the hammer and the stone, trying to figure out how this odd combination could have happened. The results were often more confusing than clear, sparking even more discussions in academic circles and online forums. The story of the London Hammer shows how surprising discoveries can be. It also reminds us that our understanding of history is always changing. Each new piece of evidence, like this hammer, makes us rethink what we know and opens up new questions. This ongoing dialogue between past and present shapes our view of human history, urging us to keep exploring and stay open to surprises. For almost 40 years, the hammer moved from one museum to another, sparking curiosity everywhere it went. Eventually, Carl Ball got hold of it. What made this hammer special was a piece of the rock still stuck to it, hinting at its ancient origins. Even more puzzling was an unfossilized mollusk shell partially embedded in the rock. This created a geological mystery that was hard to explain. When the hammer was first exposed to fresh air, its iron head showed an unusual resistance to rust and oxidation, staying smooth despite being buried for so long. This unusual feature led to debates among scientists and enthusiasts about how an old hammer ended up inside a rock with remnants of an ancient creature. The hammer became a symbol of our quest to understand the past, blending the history of technology and geology with human curiosity. The story of the hammer reminds us that history often holds unexpected surprises. Each discovery, like this one, pushes us to rethink our understanding of the world and fuels our desire to learn more about our past. The London Hammer is a fascinating artifact covered in a brownish layer that looks like fossil material. Over the years, this layer has worn away, making the hammer look rusted and rough. The handle, made mostly of wood, has kept its shape but shows dark spots at the ends, suggesting it was exposed to high heat or fire. This unusual hammer is mostly made of iron, making up 96% of its material. It's about 6 inches long and has a diameter of around 1 inch. Experts think it was made for detailed work, especially with soft metals, showing the precision needed to use it. Even though it was found over 60 years ago, Some people argue that the London hammer doesn't show any rust. They believe this is proof of its ancient and advanced origin. This idea keeps the debate alive among scholars and history enthusiasts who are excited about the possibility that this tool is from a lost high-tech civilization. But there's more to consider. The story of the London hammer not only challenges our understanding of history, but also sparks curiosity about what other ancient technologies might be waiting to be discovered. Carl Baugh, a strong believer in creationism, got hold of an artifact known as the London hammer. He was so fascinated by it that he renamed it the London Artifact. This hammer became a key part of his collection and was a big highlight at the Pittsburgh Creation Conference in 1986 and during a talk he gave in 2006. The hammer's presence in his collection stirred up a lot of interest and controversy. Baugh and his colleagues were convinced that the hammer proved the Earth was much younger than scientists generally believe, and that humans once lived alongside now extinct species. New clues about the London hammer emerged, challenging old beliefs. The London hammer debacle. Their claims about the hammer suggested a major rethink of historical timelines, hinting at a world where humans and ancient creatures coexisted. This naturally sparked intense debates and skepticism. However, Baugh and his team faced difficulties proving their bold claims. They thought the stone surrounding the hammer was part of the ancient geological formations, but figuring out its exact origins was a tough task. This uncertainty cast doubt on their initial assumptions, making it harder to convince the skeptical scientific community. But the intrigue around the London hammer didn't stop. People continued to debate and discuss what it might mean for our understanding of Earth's ancient history. The story of the hammer kept growing, raising more questions about our past. A regular-looking hammer was found in London, Texas, but the setting was anything but normal. It was stuck in rock that scientists say is about 400 million years old. This raises a big question. How could a man-made tool, similar to those made in the late 1800s in America, end up in such ancient stone? The hammer's handle adds to the mystery. It's partly turned into coal, a process that takes millions of years. This fact makes things even stranger, because it goes against what we know about human history. Modern humans have only been around for about 200,000 years. If the rock is really that old, it changes everything historians thought they knew. But this isn't the only puzzling thing. The style of the hammer matches tools made in 19th century America. So how did a tool from a relatively recent time get stuck in rock that's so old? Some think the answer might be in the type of rock around the hammer. Maybe minerals in the rock, which dissolve easily, could move newer objects into much older layers. But this process is very rare and hasn't been seen in normal geological conditions. This odd situation challenges what we know about geology and archaeology, making experts rethink their timelines and theories about Earth's history and human civilization. It sparks lots of discussions and debates among scholars and enthusiasts, all eager to figure out how the London hammer ended up in such an ancient setting, challenging our usual understanding of history. Minerals in the old limestone have turned into a concrete-like material around the artifact, but this doesn't match the actual age of the rock. We know that liquid minerals can quickly cover objects left on the surface or stuck in cracks. If the original rock easily reacts to chemicals, we have to ask, could this hammer really be millions of years old? Or is this just a guess without enough proof? Joe Taylor, who runs the Mount Blanco Fossil Museum, has a fascinating collection. This collection has casts showing impressions in ancient sandstone. These impressions look like man-made objects, specifically metal plumbing heads. The layer of sandstone, thought to be about 300 million years old, brings up important questions. How could man-made metal objects end up in such old rock formations? These impressions are interesting, but they make us wonder more about their origins and what they mean for our understanding of history and geology. Objects were found in a distant riverbed, but we don't know exactly where or what they are. These findings make us question what we know about human intelligence and when humans first appeared on Earth. When there's a big discovery or bold claim, it's important to study it carefully to make sure there's solid proof. The discovery of these ancient artifacts has made both scientists and the public very curious because of their unique features. However, there are many inconsistencies about the London hammer that prevent the scientific community from confirming any details about this ancient object. These uncertainties lead to more questions than answers, which means more investigation is needed. At first, stories about where the hammer was found are all over the place and don't have any photos to prove them. Some people say Mr. Hahn found the hammer lying near some rocks. Others argue that it was stuck in a rock formation that dates back to the Cretaceous period, around 65 to 135 million years ago. But that's not the whole story. Critics have another idea. They think that over thousands of years, minerals might have formed around the hammer, making it look like it was part of these ancient rocks. This, they say, could trick people who are new to geology into believing the hammer is millions of years old, just like the rocks around it. Debates over the hammer's origins heated up, raising new questions. The secret of the ancient hammer: fact or fiction? This argument isn't just about how old the hammer is. It also raises questions about how geological processes might explain its current state. How do objects end up getting mixed with rock formations over such long times? This puzzle makes even experts scratch their heads. And so the debate goes on, driving deeper investigations into how such oddities show up in geological records. It gives us a fascinating look into the complex layers of Earth's history. The only sure way to find out the exact age of the hammer is by carbon dating its wooden handle. However, permission to do this hasn't been given. The handle looks a bit fossilized, which makes some think it could be very old. But others argue that natural processes could make it look older than it really is. Some people even think a meteorite hit the hammer and preserved it. But based on what we know about meteorites, this idea doesn't make sense. Some skeptics believe the London hammer might just be a tool lost or thrown away about 200 years ago. But here's where it gets interesting. If the hammer is really that old, it could mean humans have been around much longer than we think. The talk about the hammer includes a lot of scientific and imaginative ideas. The meteorite theory is exciting, but not backed by evidence. On the other hand, the idea that the hammer is ancient challenges what we know about human history. If we could carbon date the wooden handle, we might get clear proof about its age. But for now, the mystery continues, with these interesting yet unproven theories keeping the debate alive. The London hammer has fascinated people ever since it was found. This object, interesting because of what it's made of and how old it seems to be, raises many questions about where it came from and what it was used for. Although we don't know exactly what this tool was for or how it ended up buried, it continues to captivate those interested in historical artifacts. Over the years, the story of the London hammer has become even more intriguing as scientists debate about it. Some researchers suggest that the hammer could be millions of years old, which would mean it has a history older than human civilization. This theory challenges our understanding of history and timelines, sparking further investigation and discussion. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The hammer's unique makeup and the concretion around it add more layers to its mystery. The tool's handle and head don't seem to match the age of the surrounding geological formations, hinting at a potentially groundbreaking discovery in paleontology. Scientists want to use carbon dating to find out the age of the hammer's wooden handle, but they're still waiting for approval. This delay leaves room for more speculation and continued research. As investigations go on, each new finding brings more questions. The London hammer not only could be a key discovery in historical and scientific contexts, but it also draws both curious people and scholars. Its existence raises big questions about geological timelines and the artifacts found within them, keeping it a point of interest in the search for knowledge about our planet's past. The ongoing debates and research highlight how hard it is to match current scientific understanding with anomalies like the London hammer. Imagine for a moment that the London hammer, a simple tool, might actually come from the Cretaceous period. Could humans have existed much earlier than we've always thought? Was there a whole civilization back then that we don't know about today? Maybe it was a sophisticated society, capable of making tools like this, living and thriving in a time we can barely imagine. If this is true, it would completely change our understanding of human history. It wouldn't just mean that early humans existed then, but it would also suggest they had advanced technological skills. A tool that might be millions of years old challenges every history book and shakes up the timelines of archaeology. But this isn't the most surprising part. What does this mean for our understanding of evolution and human development? Could there have been advanced beings making tools and building communities while dinosaurs were still around? The implications are huge, touching on the very origins of humans and the lost chapters of our history. This isn't just about a hammer. It's about rewriting the whole story of our past, making us rethink what we thought we knew about the dawn of humankind. Since ancient times, the London hammer has fascinated people. No matter what you think about where it came from, this old tool shows our endless curiosity and desire to find meaning and connection. Found stuck in rock thought to be millions of years old, it makes us question our ideas about time and technology. How could a tool be in such an ancient place? The hammer's mystery deepened, leading to more investigations. The London hammer controversy. People from all backgrounds and fields argue about whether it's real and what it means. Is it proof that ancient civilizations were advanced? Or is it just an unusual historical find? This debate shows how much we want to piece together the human story and our drive to explore and explain the mysteries of our world. But that's not the strangest part. The London hammer is more than just a curious artifact. It reminds us of the human spirit's never-ending quest to connect the dots of history and civilization. As we continue to investigate this tool, we see that it's a symbol of our desire to understand our past and how it shapes our present. To understand how old an artifact is, it's important to look at what it's made of. For example, examining the rock and clamshell found with the concretion can provide clues. By analyzing these elements, scientists can see if the clam is from a species that still exists, and if the concretion matches the geology of the area where it was found. Right now, there doesn't seem to be much detailed research on the clam or the rocks around this concretion. Looking inside the concretion could show modern sediment, which might question whether the hammer is as old as some think. This is a concern for people like Bo, a strong creationist, who might be hesitant about further investigations. But finding ancient sediments inside doesn't automatically prove the hammer itself is ancient. As John Cole mentioned, old sediment can solidify around newer objects pretty quickly. In some cases, just a few decades, like World War II items in the Pacific. Moreover, the hammer's wooden handle is said to be fossilized according to David Lyons on his website. But this claim isn't well supported, as the wood looks quite recent. Even some creationists doubt that the wood has fossilized, adding more questions about the hammer's age. This uncertainty doesn't help those who think the hammer is from an ancient time. Every piece of evidence needs to be carefully examined to get a better idea of the artifact's true age. Some people believe the hammer's design looks like something from early American craftsmanship. The material of the hammerhead is another topic of interest. Without clear evidence, what it's made of becomes a big question. Some say it was tested at Beit-El Laboratories in Columbus, Ohio. The tests supposedly showed the hammer is made of 96.6% iron, 2.6% chlorine, and 0.74% sulfur. This specific mix of materials makes people wonder how such a hammer could have been made with these exact percentages. Bo argues that the hammer's unique makeup might show a level of technology and skill not known to exist at that time. This idea sparks a big debate among experts and fans. Some think it could be a rare find in history, while others want more scientific proof to support these claims. The talk then shifts to ideas about lost technologies and the skills of early craftsmen. If this hammer is as old as some think, it could change parts of history, making us rethink what we know about early technology. The hammer we're talking about is said to come from a time when conditions were very different from today's world. This is a hard claim to prove. Supporters, like an advocacy group and a person named Bo, point to a 1992 study by Texas Utilities. The study found nothing unusual in the hammer's chemical or physical makeup. To the group, this proved the hammer was made with very advanced techniques from a long time ago. But not everyone agrees with this view. Critics say the data could also mean the hammer is a modern object, possibly just lost or misdated, rather than an ancient tool from before a supposed global flood. They find it more likely that the hammer is a misplaced piece of modern technology. The debate gets even more heated with Walter's bold claim. He suggests that if the hammer really is from a pre-flood civilization, it could change everything we know about history and technology. This argument splits people into two groups, one that thinks the hammer holds secrets of lost knowledge, and another that sees it as just an interesting, misplaced artifact. The search for more evidence goes on, and the true story of the hammer remains a mystery. At Beit El Laboratories, technicians were sure the rock around the hammer was shaped by a lot of water and high pressure. They noticed that part of the handle had turned into coal, probably because of strong water forces and volcanic activity. However, there's a big problem. There are no documented results from Beit El Labs. This could mean two things. Either no studies were done, or the research got lost or wasn't recorded. Missing records added to the hammer's puzzle, hinting at hidden answers. Geological clues in the Lima concretions. But this isn't the worst part. The lack of results makes us question the accuracy and honesty of the data handling at the lab. Are the missing results just a mistake? Or is there a bigger problem with how experiments are recorded and reported? This shows how important it is to keep good records in scientific research. Every piece of data can be crucial in understanding objects like this ancient hammer. Without proper records, we might miss out on important discoveries about our natural history. The history of the London hammer is not well recorded, leaving us with many questions. Despite these gaps, there is no solid proof to back up certain ideas about where it came from. The Lima concretions, which surround the hammer, usually form in calm, stable conditions, not in the chaotic situations some people think. When it comes to the hammer's handle, the level of carbonization is very low. Usually, carbonization can happen without a volcano's help. This means that even a recently lost hammer could look similar if it was left in the right conditions, just like the London hammer. So, it's more likely that the hammer is from a more recent time, possibly left by a miner from the 18th or 19th century. This miner might have left the hammer in a mineral-rich solution, which eventually hardened around it, preserving it the way we see it today. This idea not only matches the known facts, but also fits well with how we understand geological processes today. But that's not all. There's more to consider when we think about this simple explanation. The origin of this strange artifact, known as the London hammer, is quite unclear. We don't know if it was originally part of the nearby rock formations and then broke off, or if it was moved to its current spot by a river from far away. This mystery fuels ongoing debates among those who believe in a young Earth or an advanced civilization before a big flood. They often point to the London hammer to support their ideas. However, their arguments are shaky because they usually misinterpret the artifact's significance or context. The idea that the hammer could be an ancient relic from a long-gone era is exciting, but remains highly speculative without solid proof. The main issue is the nature of the claims made about the hammer. Such extraordinary claims need equally extraordinary evidence to be believed, and this evidence is missing in this case. Careful scientific examination and validation are needed to move beyond mere guesses. But this isn't the worst part. The London hammer continues to be a topic of fascination and speculation. It raises interesting questions about historical timelines and geological processes, but without conclusive proof, the debate stays open. Those who support the young Earth theory or pre-flood civilization need to provide more convincing evidence if they want their views to be widely accepted. Until then, the London hammer will remain a subject of both curiosity and skepticism. As long as Bo possesses the hammer, the research team is stalled in their efforts to determine whether this object is a recent creation or an ancient artifact. The fascination with objects that appear misplaced in time is a central aspect of their work. Exploring such anomalies quenches their curiosity and enriches their comprehension of historical progressions and technological advancements. This ongoing quest challenges conventional views of history, prompting a reconsideration of the past and the evolution of human ingenuity. Through diligent study and shared discoveries, the research continues to unfold, bringing new insights and questions to the forefront of their academic endeavors. Each investigation helps us connect historical dots that might have been missed, offering a chance to change our understanding of human history. By studying such artifacts, we can question and possibly change our timeline of human development. It's about pushing the boundaries of what we know and expanding our knowledge about our past. But the most exciting part is yet to come. Let's keep this journey of discovery going, staying enthusiastic about uncovering the hidden truths behind these fascinating objects. The more we explore, the more we learn. This process of learning not only enlightens us, but also adds depth to our knowledge of human achievements across different times. However, there's still much more to discover. What if history's biggest secrets are still hidden? Share your thoughts in the comments below, like, and subscribe for more.